Good morning there, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I better get on with this review here before I talk myself out of it. Right off the get-go, before I forget, I've been a broadcaster on the internet here and there since 2008, but you can catch me at www.justcast.org/users/KLive. KLIBE. My name's Jim, and I broadcast out of Livingston, Montana. But I just said that to say this. I got limited experience. See this orange condenser, i.e. electrified capacitor mic? I've got limited experience. I've got a lot of experience with a mic like this. This is a dynamic mic. I'm not going to get into the difference, but there's a big difference between dynamic mics and condenser mics. Like I say, this is a Shure PG58, and I've used it for years. The only thing is, you got to get really, really close. And I wanted to get a little bit more sensitivity, but the whole idea here is not to gab about who I am, what I am, and all this other stuff, but is to demo an R-Tube MP series preamp. Well, the best way to do this, I'm going to take this independent webcam, because my sound's running right directly into the computer, not off this webcam. But I'll show you what I'm talking about here. The best way to do it is just move this thing right over. And I am recording into QuickTime, and that's what I've been having a little trouble with this morning. Well, let's get right down to there's that ugly looking... You can get these mics all day long on eBay and Amazon for 30 to 40 bucks or whatever have you. Now let's get right down to this guy right here, which is the preamp that I've been blabbering about there, the microphone preamp. And like I say, it's made by ART, Applied Research Technologies, okay? But before I explain this preamp for this microphone here, let me move on over to my mixer. That's an inline amp, and it's going into this mixer, and this is a Behringer. Right there, you can see that name. And this is a DX626. And right off the get-go, right back here, ladies and gentlemen, let me move my webcam over there. This is an XLR cable. This whole system, what I'm showing you today anyway, requires two XLR cables, male on one end and female on the other, respectively. But this channel right here that I'm dragging my hand along, this has all been evened out at 50%. Because this is the mic channel. This is the main big slider right there. And it's set at 50% too. I think that's a good way of doing an unbiased test, if you will. And when I export this file, I'm not going to change the file sound properties at all. So what you're seeing and what you're hearing is what you get. But another point is, on this DX626 back here, this does not have a phantom power supply. You need to have 48 volts DC, on this circuit right here where this XLR cable plugs in to this Behringer DX626. And my unit doesn't have it, so therefore I went with this ART preamp right here. Okay, and that's one of the main reasons why these type of gizmos are in existence, and you can also use these for instruments too, and passive mics. Okay, now there are your little controls. You got 4 little push in and out buttons and 2 knobs, and that's it. And there's a VU meter right there, and that doggone thing doesn't work so well with XLR cables, but it's my understanding that it'll give you some kind of a decent rendition if you're using 1/4-inch audio cables, okay? Now right here, this guy over here on this side right here, you might be able to see that writing on this amp, but This is your input. This is what's this cable, this XLR cable is what's coming in from my microphone, and this guy over here on the other side is what's going to the mixer. Okay, this skinny little cable right back here is the power cable. Where it sets, where it goes in right here is 9 volts DC power, but it does plug into a wall outlet. There's a small converter, and this comes with the unit too. Okay, now moving on down here, and like I say, this stuff's all live, so what you hear and what you see is what you get. Okay, now I'm going to warn you folks right off the get-go. See that red lettering right there? Right there that says dB boost. Now watch your ears very, very closely, because once I hit this little switch, things are going to get very, very loud in a quick hurry. Okay, there we go. I just engaged 20 dB gain boost, if you will. I'm not going to leave this on here very long because I realize this sounds very, very ridiculous. Okay, let me shut this guy off right here. Okay, this next little button right here is for fan and power. It's pressed in. Yeah, you almost have to have it to do what I'm doing right now. You can run a passive mic through here. That's another thing. You don't want to engage this button. If your unit that you're going into has fan and power, make sure this button stays out. This next little button right here, this little guy right here is for, like, if you got a bunch of mics hooked together and one of them's out of phase or whatever have you, that's supposed to correct phasing problems. And this OPL right here is kind of a circuit protector for your sound card and whatnot have you, in case you're putting too much juice into your computer or whatever have you. That'll sort of clip that down. Okay, now this is the input that's coming in from the mic right here. It's kind of in line with those 2K XLR cables back there like that. Okay, but I'll turn this up here to about 75% or so. Now I'll go over here on the output. This is going to the mixer, and I'll turn that up to about 75% or so. So there you are. You can adjust your volume that way. But my best advice with this, from what I've seen with this thing, is make sure these levels are set pretty low when you first start up, because you want to hurt your sound card or your sound system or whatever have you. So let me turn that back down again. Alright, that's really just all there is to this. And like I say, that VU meter doesn't work so good with XLR, but it does, it's my understanding it does with instrument, 1/4 inch RCA instrument or phono cables. Okay, now, last little thing I'm going to do is take you over to the box here, and just before I close this file, and there's the specs right there. You got specifications and features, and I'll hold this on here for just a second or so, if I can stop from shaking around here. But hand holding these digital cameras, guys, you know how it is. It's kind of hard. But there's all your specs and your technical stuff and whatnot have you there. So, well, anyway, I hope I confused you some more. I just know one thing: when you're fooling around with these condenser, i.e. capacitor mics, one piece of advice I can give you is take care, because these things have a tendency to be very, very loud and whatnot have you. Alright, thank you very much for watching the video, and have a nice day.